Vanakkam Anna. Today I am here with you to learn about Vigil Nature of our righteous mind. Sometimes I wonder if I am really being myself or just projecting how others expect me. Because of my low confidence, along with fear, I often stay quiet or agree when I really don't mean it. Over time, this creates a gap between what I feel inside and how I act outside. It is very challenging to stay aware with my inner self itself and maintain connections with them because my inner self become suppressed under the layer of expectation and self discipline. So would you please explain me how we can protect or cultivate our righteous mind in the world that constantly asks us to conform?
Saambavi, it's good to hear your voice after we met in Chidambaram uh, almost a month ago. And your question or your bunch of opinions triggers uh, some ideas inside me. Actually, I'm willing to discuss about the word discipline in the first level. In Tamil, we have a term called Olungu. I don't see any equivalent to Olungu in English. Discipline is the term which shows the nearest meaning of it. Uh, what is discipline? Why should we be disciplined? And when the manners, discipline kind of ideas are taught, imposed on us, I would say when you keep yourself in goodness, you are disciplined. That's it. That's very simple. If you are good and you are doing well, your health is well, your mental state is calm. You are disciplined. That's it. That's very simple idea. This is the theory of discipline. You may expect um, the outer world, the learned society may expect hundreds of pages to talk about discipline, but we have simple line on that. When a person is doing well in his bodily wellness and mental health, he is disciplined. Just leave him or her life to go as it is because they are doing well. If your food habit keeps you healthy, your food discipline is good. If your work style, your entertainments, your some habits are helping you to sleep well, eat well, roam around well, chat around well, you are doing disciplined things. When your body is affected by some habits, practices, way of seeing things, which means you are indisciplined. Now look around the world. Is it disease free? Is it stress free? Depression free? No. But the world is preaching us to be disciplined. In their state of mind or in their state of knowledge system, discipline means imposing some rules on others, which rules help them to control the others. To control the society, the modern knowledge system is preaching, educating, and practicing immoral ideas, and they name it discipline. But the truth is simple. Truth is always simple. In other words, whatever takes much more explanation to understand is not true. As I often say, the learned society is well versed in talking about facts. It is in complete blindness in seeing the vision of truth. Actually, the learned society of our contemporary time hates to see the vision of truth. Yeah, it hates truth because truth always put forth some simple ways to practice. Truth doesn't preach anything, but truth always is having a simple conversation with us. God is not preaching anything to us. He is always guiding us with the simplicity of the creations He is manifesting each and every moment. The present education system keeps on trying to bury the simple things. If this society is practicing actually disciplined manners, which it has been preaching for some 200 or 300 years, would it have tested even a single atomic bomb? Which kind of discipline lets this society to enter into a research which would result in massacring million of people in one attempt? Isn't a disciplined state of knowledge? If this learned society is actually having disciplined education? Would it have invented millions of medicinal drugs and made corporates to take care of people's lives? No. Actual discipline is keep each and every human being in medicine free lifestyle. You just imagine it. You and your kids can live in this earth without any medicine.
Not at all.
But you just imagine if it comes true. When it comes true, how your lifestyle would be then. Your lifestyle would be well disciplined as it is in the simplest means. When you live in simplest means, you don't need to have drugs, arms, weapons, and even enmity towards others and yourself. When you lose the simplicity, you envy, you start quarreling, and then you have to be entering into confronting the simple way of lifestyle doesn't confront with anyone. It actually embraces the other. It actually is willing to understand everyone. Let me make this clear. Simplicity is basically the wishful thought process of understanding the self and the outer world. When you feel yourself as a simple person, you accept that you don't know much. You accept that your knowledge is limited. When you feel yourself a simple person, you actually surrender yourself to each and every part of this universe. You just start wondering the stars. You will be wondering the mountains. When you lose the simplicity and become a learned person, you don't wonder the star. You start thinking how to reach out there. Is it useful or not? Why does it being there without any prosperity to give? in my life. And when you uh, see a mountain, a learned person start, he starts, or he or she starts um, thinking how to use this mountain for my wealth, or how to exploit this mountain to make myself greater. When a simple person looks at a jungle, he wonders. He just desires to stay there for at least a couple of days. A learned person looks out the jungle and starts thinking, why don't we build a resort here and make money? This is the basic difference between the thought process of simplicity and learned a person's uh, ideas. Yeah,
If we are like that, we will stand out from the group. Like we feel left out, and they will treat us like treat us. They will keep aside in a group.
always simple persons identify each other in simple ways. I would say, i- if I were left alone in a circumstance, I would be easily identifying myself with a tree, a cat, a dog, or a worm, or a butterfly, or even a bird, and anything else which has been created by our Ammayappa as my kids and kings. This is not a poetry thing. Uh, This is the truth. You are not left alone by God, but you are left alone by your kids and kings. What an irony.
Well said, Anna.
Actually, the enemies are not leaving us alone. Uh, the closest persons always leave us alone. In a way, not in a not in a way. Uh, in its actual meaning, we are blessed. When a person kicks you out, you are freed. You must understand that. You shouldn't be afraid of that. Nobody in this world is actually left alone. Nobody in this world cannot be left alone. Nobody in this world cannot live alone. The loneliness is a fact. It's not the truth. When you consider yourself left alone by four, five, or hundreds of people, you are missing to see billions of species and millions of humankind are there. Just a couple of persons throw you out, leave you alone, which means a prison has kicked you out. Now the outer world is is actually welcoming you. It is broader and broader than a den in which you were dwelling for the past few years or all of your past life. So the concept of being alone is a superstitious idea. You are not actually being alone, and I strongly say, even if you are trying in hardest ways, you cannot be alone. How can you be alone? Don't you understand? This is an imagination. Actually, this is a myth to threaten you, to threaten your ideas of liberty. Nobody can leave anyone alone. So the simple persons should understand we are crawling in our God's lap. Actually, we are still crawling in Ammayappa's lap. The earth is Ammayappa's Tiruvadi. In Tamil, we call it Tiruvadi. Uh, how can we translate that in English? Mm, can you do that?
Um,
The earth
yes.
is our God Ammayappa's um, sacred
Sacred feet.
feet. Sacred feet. We 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 are living in our God's sacred feet. The earth itself protects us in all means and ways. You can learn in your own way. You can see things to understand as per your desire. You can do whatever you are destined to do, and the story goes on. When you understand yourself as a simple person, otherwise, when you holds upon your identity which has been imposed on you or which has been gained by your hard efforts, you fail. Never carry any identity on you. It is actually an onus. When something makes you feel proud, just Mark my words, it is an onus on your innocent mind. It is a hardest, ruthless weapon against your innocence. Never feel proud. All your identities based on wealth, education, and so on are making you, or at least teaching you to feel proud. Now, you are carrying a rock on your shoulder, and the society praises the rock, the beauty of the rock, the sharpness of its edges, and even it is praising you as you are carrying that much weight. Actually, people like you and me and um, our my students should pity the topmost um, authoritarian people. Actually, I always pity them. When somebody is popular or considered to be a celebrity, I always pity him. Because carrying the identity which is mm, breeding more and more pride is a, a punishment to the soul. It's a punishment to the innocence of mind. The simplicity always seeks liberty. It actually sheds all tiny burdens. A simple mind cannot hold even a small piece of a rock, as it always is willing to fly around. You could have watched birds, they would shed the older feathers. Even the lightest, um, even the lightweight feather is a burden to a bird. That is the mandiram of simplicity. Never carry any identity in your mind. Never be worried about the pride, prideful things which are imposed on you by your unnatural activities. People would praise you when you do unnatural things. When you work hard, people will praise you. I would ask, why are you working hard? You should work in pleasant mood, and you should work without spoiling your body. So, the hard work is basically against, it is actually against the simplicity. Never work hard. Just be cool. Do all things without spoiling your physical and mental health. This is the simple way of understanding the discipline. So, when you are cursed as you are an indisciplined fellow, just ask one question to yourself: am I spoiling my physical and mental health? If the answer is no, you are a disciplined person. If the answer is yes, you correct yourself. Never harm your physical and mental health for any reason. This is the simple truth to lead your life without carrying any onus of pride and other emotional impositions on you.
Thank you, Anna. I'm deeply grateful to you for sharing your thought provoking guidance with all time inspiring keynotes. This session was truly impactful and eye open for people like me who are really struggling to feel our inner self truly without masking by pressure. The way you started with the concept of orungu, the nearest word in English called discipline, was explained in a very simple and powerful way. The talk highlighted how modern corporate culture and fast paced society often impose identities based on wealth and instant gratification. It reminded me that being patient and living in the present are essential to staying true to ourselves. Overall, I understood that true identity does not need to be chased. It already exists within us and it blossoms when we live and feel truthfully without pride or external pressure.
Uh, that's fine, Saambavi. It was good um, discussing with you these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.